Hi, my name is Aram and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the second episode about the centralized society. If you haven't seen the first one, I invite you to check this out right now. In this episode, we are going to talk about the solutions. Here we are going to talk about the technology that could be similar to internet because of its disruption. We are going to talk about a borderless economy and we're going to talk about Akoin. It will all make sense later. So the technology I'm talking about is called the blockchain. I know it's a very scary word and people get really scared when they hear it for the first time because it's associated to something really complicated. It's something that you would not be able to understand at the first glance if you don't have any experience. But let me ask you a question. When you use internet, do you know exactly how it gets from the satellite to your Wi-Fi box and then to your phone? No, and you don't care about. The only thing you care about is the practical use. It allows you to go on the internet and it allows you to send a message to anyone in the world, basically. You don't need all the technical details to understand it. And this is pretty much what we are going to do in this video. We are going to talk about the practical use and about how the blockchain can contribute to the decentralization of our society. So what is the blockchain? If we take the name blockchain, we get two parts. So the blocks would be the digital information about the transactions happening on the blockchain. These blocks are then put in a chain, one behind another. So far so good, right? It's really easy to understand. But what is particular about it is that this is decentralized. Every transaction has to be verified, right, for its authenticity. And these transactions will always be verified by independent actors on the blockchain. This is where the centralization happens. Okay, so far we are good, okay? And the most important part about this information is that, first of all, it's public, it's encrypted, and it's timestamped. It means that once you put one information in the block, it cannot be modified. So now let's get straight into the examples to see how we could use it in a practical way. In my previous video, I talked about different industries, so this is what we are going to do in this video as well. We are going to talk about how it can be implemented in this process. Let's use the first example, which will talk about the supply chains and about the production industry. So how would the blockchain contribute to a more efficient production of different goods? First of all, if you input the information which is public and which has been verified, it allows you to have a transparency about your whole supply chain. You know each actor, you know where your product comes from, and you know all the stages that the product has gone through. And when you know all the actors, you can see some unnecessary actors in it, like brokers or agents, which just take a fee to connect two people together. So by doing this, we are eliminating intermediaries that could not contribute to the supply chain of a product. The products become cheaper and there is a better interaction and a better way of communication between the supplier and the client. The other industry where the blockchain could be used is the data. I did a video about data, so if you want to check this out, the link will be here. And in this video, I talked about the fact that we don't own our own data about our healthcare. The blockchain could provide a solution where everyone possesses their own data, their own medical records. It could be through a ledger or through a private key that you would enter at any doctor's place to access your information. Therefore, you would not have to go through different doctors or through different steps to get your own information. Being the owner of your own data becomes really valuable today, and it's very important. So once again, if you want to see more about it and to learn more about your ways to protect your data, please check out my other video. And now we are getting into the really interesting stuff. We are going to talk about the social factor and financial factor. In Venezuela, for several years, there has been a hyperinflation going on. The hyperinflation is basically your basic goods have their price increased. So the hyperinflation is considered after 50% per year. In Venezuela, right now, the hyperinflation is about 10,000% per year. And this year it might go up to 1,000,000%. It's basically due to the devaluation of the currency because of the government printing money. Printing more, increasing debt, the devaluation of the currency is more important than ever. So what happened is that the Venezuelans could not even access basic products like water or some foods. So just to give you an example, a chicken would cost 14 million bolivars, which basically corresponds to a stock of money big like this, which also corresponds to a price of over $60. Can you imagine how crazy it is? So what could be the solution? One of the most interesting parts about the blockchain is that the cryptocurrencies came in at the same time. Cryptocurrency is a digital currency based on a blockchain. There are plenty of them. There are over 2,000 different cryptocurrencies today. This subject is really interesting, and if you want to hear more about it, please let me know in the comments and I will talk about it in one of my next videos. Now let's get back to the Venezuela. So when this crisis started to happen, some families who live outside of Venezuela decided to send money back to the country. But the problem was that the border control would not let it happen. The money coming to the country would be confiscated and used to pay back the financial debt of the country. And sending money through the bank, where the government is the entity in control of everything, would not be secure either. And this is where the blockchain comes in and becomes really useful. With the cryptocurrencies, you don't have any entity to control your money. The only thing you would need is a wallet that you can set up on any website or just buy a hardware wallet. So what people did was sending money through cryptocurrency inside the country. It cannot be controlled and nobody could confiscate it. And what is even more interesting is that the shops and different markets implemented a terminal of payment for cryptocurrency inside the country. This allows the Venezuelans right now to go around the system and to be able to pay their own goods to survive there. And I guess this could be a real good transition to my next factor, the social one. And this is where we are going to talk about Akoin. Once his rap career ended, Akoin decided to go back to his roots to Africa and start entrepreneurship innovations there. He decided to give some power to Africa thanks to his influence and to his ideas. And one of his projects is called Akoin. Akoin has its goal to reunite different African countries. Right now there are over 50 currencies used on this continent. So when you go from one country to another, you would not be able to use the money from the previous country to pay in the new one. So right now what people there use is the credit for the mobile phone, the minutes to be able to call each other. It is the way people use the most to pay each other right now because it doesn't have any borders. Akoin is a cryptocurrency that would unite the whole continent, which is a really ambitious project. And this is where we are talking about a borderless economy. You don't have borders anymore because when you go from one country to another, you don't have to exchange your currency or do anything. You just need to have your phone. It's actually a really interesting project. I will link an article about this in my description if you want to find out more about it. So now, if we look back, the problem is that every revolution goes through 3 steps. We have the ridiculous. Ridiculous because it's laughable at. You do not really see how it can be implemented, how the whole system could be changed because of this innovative idea. The second step would be dangerous. It becomes dangerous because it could overthrow the whole system which is in place right now. It's dangerous because there is a risk of the whole system collapsing. And then the third one is obvious. Why haven't we implemented this before? It was such a great idea. How can we live without it? So now let's take a look back at some revolutions that have taken place. We can talk about the Earth being round. No, we will not talk about the flat Earth community, okay? But before it was laughable. People didn't believe in this. For people before, it was obvious that the Earth was standing on 2 elephants and 2 whales. It made sense to these people. So they were laughing at people who were saying that the Earth was round. This next step, it became dangerous because people couldn't believe that the whole system is about to be overthrown. So the people who were talking about the round Earth were executed. Today it's obvious to us that our planet is round. Another example is internet. Can you imagine at the beginning of the internet when people said that you can connect to anyone at any part of the world in just a matter of seconds? It was laughable. People could not imagine this. Then it became dangerous. How can we do this? Why do we have so many scams? What do we have on the internet? How to protect it? Today it's obvious to us to take our phone and to go on any website and to send a message to any part of the world in just a matter of seconds. So the blockchain right now, it's somewhere between ridiculous and between dangerous. In the next video, we're going to talk about how the system could be implemented and what are the problems with it. So for the moment, if you enjoyed this content, I invite you to subscribe to my channel for more. Leave a like under this video if you liked it and tell me in the comments what you thought about it. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.